Hello everyone, my name is Balaban-Feld, and I'm excited to tell you about some research that we did looking into how experience with predation influences social group risk-taking and foraging behaviors. Okay, so as a prey animal, foraging is a dangerous task, and prey must often trade off food and safety. In general, prey have two choices. They can stay in a safe refuge that provides safety but no access to food, or they can venture out of the refuge to try to search for food but also encounter some predation risk. So, in order to make optimal foraging decisions, prey animals must gain information about the level and timing of predation risk in their environment. And prey can gain this type of information in two ways. They can gain it from their own prior experience, or possibly from learning from experienced conspecifics. So, we asked two questions. How does experience with predation influence subsequent foraging behavior under risk? And then how do mixed social groups containing both naive and experienced individuals behave compared with groups containing all naive or all experienced individuals? All right, so this experiment was done over 2 days. The first day was a training day, and the goal of this training day was to create two groups of fish, one that were naive and one that were experienced. And so the naive fish spent 1 day in the aviary that you can see on the top right, foraging in these pools with no predator present. And then on the other hand, the experienced fish trained for 1 day foraging in these pools with a live egret predator, unrestrained and present. Okay, so leading into the second day, we created 3 groups. One of the pools contained a group of 10 naive fish, so all naive. The other group contained all experienced fish, and the third pool contained half naive and half experienced fish. And if you look down at the bottom right, you can see a top-down view of one of these pools. In the center of the pool, we had a floating refuge that provided the fish safety, but no access to food. On the other hand, the fish could leave out of that refuge and look for food in these gud trays in the open water environment that provided access to food, but was risky in terms of predation risk. And on the test day, we measured 3 things at each of the pools: how much time the fish spent foraging outside of the refuge, how many food pellets they ate out of the gud tray, and then the mortality of the fish from the egret predator. Okay, moving forward to the results. First of all, what we can see here is that the experienced fish consumed the least amount of food as they took the fewest food pellets out of the gud tray. And we did not see any significant difference as both the naive and mixed groups consumed the same amount of food. And the reason for this was that the experienced fish spent the least amount of time foraging outside of the refuge in the high-risk environment. But again, we saw no significant difference between the naive and mixed groups, which foraged outside of the refuge for a similar amount of time. Moving forward to the mortality results, what we can see is that overall, naive fish were captured more often by the predator than experienced fish. Firstly, the all-naive group had the highest level of mortality. And second, within the mixed group, significantly more naive fish were captured than experienced fish. One interesting thing to note was that we didn't see any overall difference in mortality between the all experienced fish group and the mixed fish group. Okay, so this brought up an interesting question. We've seen that the mixed group of fish foraged similarly to the all naive groups, both in terms of how much food they ate and in terms of how much time they spent outside of the refuge. But the all naive groups experienced significantly more mortality than those mixed groups, and the question was why? And we think we came up with the answer. What we found is that the groups of all naive fish were unable to spot the approaching egret predator as quickly as the mixed groups of fish. So as you can see in this example on the top left, these naive fish were not able to spot the egret predator and initiate their escape until the egret predator was right on top of their pool. On the other hand, the mixed group of fish over here spotted the egret with enough time to begin their escape before the egret reached the pool. So we found that the mixed groups were able to spot the egret and initiate their escape significantly earlier than the all-naive fish groups, and we believe this explains why the all-naive fish groups had significantly higher mortality than the mixed groups. So to conclude everything, first of all, the all-experienced groups spent less time foraging in the risky location and consumed less food, probably due to their prior experience with the high level of predation risk. On the other hand, looking at the mixed groups, the naive fish within the mixed groups did not actually lower their foraging behavior through social learning from the experienced group members, but the naive fish in those mixed groups did benefit from the enhanced predator detection of those experienced group members within their mixed groups. So, putting it all together, this study really exemplified some of those major benefits that prey animals gain from being social and, in terms of fish, shoaling when foraging. And here are my acknowledgments. So thank you to everyone, and thank you to the Animal Behavior Live conference for giving me this chance to present my research.